What's going on, guys? I had to build a little gate right here, as you can see, for my back porch, and I'm going to show you why here in a second. Alright guys, welcome to another video with Matt. As you can see, having a little problem with my chickens coming up onto my porch and leaving poop everywhere, knocking over my flowers, trying to eat the plants, and just making a big mess on my porch altogether. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to make me a little gate. Now, I've looked up gates online, and oh my gosh, some of these gates online are like 60, 70, even up into $140 that I've seen. So I'm not even going to spend all that, guys. I had some stuff lying around in my barn that I'm going to make a gate to go across this way right here. That way I can keep the chickens out, but also be able to let my dogs back and forth and all of that. So starting right off, I've got some lattice right here that we're going to incorporate into the project. Had some leftover little vinyl planks, as you can see. I'm going to use this stuff to build the frame with, and that right there will be the middle right there, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so the first thing that I did is I measured my lattice that I have on hand right here from the bottom to the top right here, and that's roughly at 34 3/4, right? So what I want to do is take one of my little planks right here, the little vinyl planks, and I'm going to pull from one end right here and mark the 34 3/4, and then I'm going to pull to the other end and mark 34 3/4. That right there will wind up being my side pieces on each side. Right, so now we need to find out the width that we need to go and get it marked on our second plank over here. Alright guys, so next thing I want to do now before I start even cutting anything like that is I've got a pair of hinges right here that I bought at a yard sale for like $2. So great score for only $2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from the bottom of my banister part right here that the door is going to go up against, right? And we know that we're 34 3/4 to the top of our lattice, right? So what I want to do is just put it down right here. I want to mark the 34 3/4 mark up here, right? Then what I want to do is, once I got that marked out, that tells me my distances, is I want to go about 6 and 6. So I'll go right here just like that, and I'll mark it at 6 inches there, and then I'll go from my top line, that's just right here, that's the 34 3/4 mark. I'll line up my tape there, and I will mark a 6-inch mark right there. So that right there will tell me that my little pieces right here will be pretty much centered up and level and in line with each other, guys. So we can go ahead and mount that to our post now. Alright guys, now that I have both of my hinges on, what I can go ahead and do now is, remember we measured one of our vinyl insert pieces, we measured it at 34 3/4. So now we can go ahead and cut that board at 34 3/4 on this side, and we made a secondary line on the other side of it for 34 3/4. That will be the board for the other side over here, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and get both of those 34 3/4 boards cut now. All right, so you guys can see where I was talking about. I pulled this way 34 3/4, then I pulled it from this way 34 3/4. So a little hint and tip for cutting this stuff, guys, is take some painter's tape, go over those marks right over the center of it right there, just like that. All right, and then what you're going to do is, after you cover it with the painter's tape all the way around, you're going to pull back your same measurements and mark these again, and use your speed square to pop a straight line. That way we can just use the circle saw and cut those right off. The tape just kind of helps with this vinyl from splintering and shredding all the pieces. So go ahead and get your marks covered with some tape all the way around, get it marked again, and cut it out. Alright guys, so I've got my middle piece measured now. It turned out the best I'm going to be able to squeeze out of it and get two nice even parts out of that one piece would be, again, 34 3/4. So that's what I went with. So what I want to do now, guys, is I got my hinges on, right? You want to take one of your pieces, you want to kind of just lay it down right there. And what you want to do is measure up just a hair, so that the bottom piece right there will be off. You don't want it touching your steps or your ground or whatever you're building this at, right? So you want it to be raised just a hair, and you want to go ahead and put one of your sideboards on and just shoot one of the screws in on the end right there for now, guys. That's how I helped myself get my measurement. I'm out here working by myself today, guys, so I was able to hold up the other side right there, hold it up in place. It's going to line up with the little latch and get my measurement of 34 3/4. So what I want to do now though, guys, is that we got that one hole marked. As you can see, we'll be able to move this around and adjust it and level it up in a little bit, right? But what I want to do now is take this screw out of this bottom piece right here, just like this. Alright, so that right there is going to mark where I need to be when we go to hang this entire frame, right? So what I want to do now, guys, is we need to get some wood to back our pieces up. And the way we're going to join this is we're going to put 2x4s that we're going to have to cut down in order to fit inside these slots right here, because we need something strong to screw to. As you can see, it's just hollow plastic vinyl in there, guys. The screws will just rip out if you don't have it backed up by wood. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut down some 2x4s with the little table saw that we got, make them a little bit slimmer so that we can fit them inside of here. And then what I got to join it all together as one frame is I got these little L brackets right here, guys. So once we get our wood in place, then we'll be able to attach it all like one square. So let's go ahead and get our wood pieces cut. We know that all 4 of our pieces is 34 3/4. So that means we need to go ahead and cut out 4 2x4s at 34 3/4. Alright guys, once you've got all of your 4 2x4s cut out at 34 3/4, what we need to do now is cut them down on the side of here to make them fit inside of your vinyl sleeve, just like this right here. So the best way to do that is to measure from inside to inside. It looks like we're right at slightly past 2.5 right there, guys. So what I want to do is I want to take my board. This is one that we've already cut down, as you can see. Compare the difference of a 2x4 to that. So what I did, dude, is basically just come with my tape just like that right there. I measured out 1 notch past 2.5 right there, guys. So bam, marked it here, marked it in the middle, and marked it at the end right there. Then take a straight edge board. You can just use your vinyl piece or whatever. You want to line those marks up and then draw you a line, and that's going to give you the line that you need to cut all the way down. And you'll need to use either a table saw or a circle saw. I just used a circle saw, guys. Just lined it and held it nice and tight. I went straight down until I got near the edge and just pulled it towards me until I was done right there, guys. So you can accomplish this with a circle saw. Does not have to be perfect because it's going to go inside of one of your vinyl sleeves just like that right there. So like I said, get your 4 boards cut out 34 3/4, and then go ahead and knock off what you need to make your board fit inside. Alright, so we got all of our boards inserted right here into a little vinyl sleeve. So now what we need to do is just line them up so that they're not poking out on either side, and just take 2 little short screws. These are little 1-inch screws right here, guys. And I'm just going to keep myself out of the way because we know our L brackets got to go right in here. So I just want to screw this down so that the board doesn't move, right? So I'm just going to throw a screw somewhere right here randomly. And you're screwing the vinyl to the board now. Just like that. Then I'm going to slide her down. And I want to come over here to the other side and do the same thing, about the same distance, but right in here. And that's just going to keep your board from sliding all around until we lock it together with the L brackets, guys. So just want to do that to all 4 of my sleeves now. Let's go ahead and shoot some screws in there to keep your wood from sliding around and falling out. Alright guys, so now we've got all of our wooden boards in our sleeves, and we got it all laid out just the way we're going to hang it. Remember where you put your 1 screw hole at for the bottom of that fence, because that's going to determine how you put this together. Remember that 1 screw hole, just like that, guys. So Now what we need to do is take our little metal L brackets right here, and we're going to go around, place them in these corners just like that, get them nice and lined up, and then go ahead and screw all 4 corners down. So we're going to go ahead and do that now. Alright guys, so I went around and put all 4 of my corner brackets on and noticed that it was still just a little bit wobbly. So the best way to solve that is I just took some longer screws that were 3-inch, cocked it at an angle right here, drove it from this wood into this wood going this way, right? So I did that on all 4 corners, and that made my piece super sturdy now, guys. So now the frame part is built, we can go ahead and hang this onto our brackets. That's going to be our door hinges, right? We can go ahead and hang that. Then we can go ahead and get it marked for our little latch that we're going to put on in the little column right there. And then we'll go ahead and get our lattice measured for putting it on here, guys. So let's go ahead and get this hung up now. Alright guys, so I got the frame, went ahead and put it on my hinges over here. Then I lined it up right here, guys. Went ahead and put my little eye hooks in for the little switch and put that part in right there. So there we go. As you can see, it won't just open, and a strong wind won't just be able to blow it wide open or anything like that. So now that we got all of that started done, now what we need to do is take our lattice right here, guys, and we need to figure out the center mark of our board on both the bottom and the top and mark our centers. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lay up a piece like that. Then we're going to lay up a piece just like that. We're going to find that center mark that we make, and then we're going to trim our lattice so that it meets up perfectly together right down that center line. And then we're going to put a little brace right here in the middle of it, just like that. And then we'll go around after we paint this lattice white and all that. We'll go around after we cut it, get our little mountain post put on, and then we'll go around and nail her up all the way around, guys. So if you want to save yourself some time, go ahead and paint your lattice now if you're going to paint it, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and paint mine now. What way it's a sunny day, so it can be dry for whenever I do go to cut the ends off. All I have to do is just do a little bit of touch-up painting, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump on getting this stuff painted, and I'll be back in a little bit. Alright guys, so now we are waiting on the paint to dry on our little lattice pieces that we got. So what we need to do now is measure from here to there, and you're going to find your center marks, right? Once you find your center marks, you need to go ahead and mark the center mark here and down there at the same time. Go ahead and mark both of those, right? And see, what I've done is I took an old picket from one of our little backups that we had in the barn, right? That's going to be our middle brace, right? So I did the same thing, had to custom cut a piece of wood to fit in there and just shot some screws in it to keep it nice and sturdy. So that will be our middle brace right there, guys. So what you want to do is you want your lattice to face outward, right? Like I want to be able to nail it and screw it right up to here, right? So we're going to butt it up. We got our center marks and stuff. You want to make sure you butt it up to the front just like that right there, because the picket normally sized on this stuff is made to go dead center, right? So it doesn't hang on both sides, but you're going to want it towards the front, just like that right there, towards the front when we go to put on our lattice, right? So go ahead and get your middle strut piece right here. Go ahead and get it screwed into place. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm basically just going to line it up, throw a level on it. I'm going to go ahead and shoot a screw here and here, and then on the bottom both sides also, guys. So go ahead and get your middle brace on now. Alright, so cutting our lattice, guys, what I've done is I've taken my pieces, right, and I've lined them up behind here just like that, and I went ahead and made sure they were flush up here on the top just like that, and I went ahead and screwed it in into a couple of places, right, just a couple of places, not all crazy with it or nothing, right. I left it so that the middle of the lattice is the end right here, right down the middle. That way we can put two pieces side by side, and they have enough room to be screwed into the middle and on each end, right? So what I've done over here, I'm gonna get a little closer to show you guys right here, is right here on the end piece That's the excess right here, guys. I've just taken a quick little pin right here, and I went down this whole strip and made that mark of where we need to cut that off to be flush with it right here, guys. So go ahead and get your pieces mounted up. Like I said, went halfway on one end right here, threw a couple of screws here and over here just to keep it in line and get our pieces so that we can mark it, guys. So we got it marked. We'll go ahead and cut that excess off right there, and then we'll do the same thing for our other piece on the other side right here. Alright guys, it is getting dark on us, and we just finished up. We cut off both of our edges right there, lined everything up nice and square with each other, and went ahead and shot some screws all the way around to secure it to the frame. So let me show you guys now. Be able to come up, unlatch it, be able to open it up just like that. And then whenever I'm done in the yard for the day, or coming back and forth, and say the chicken's coming up here and pooping and dirtying up my back porch, now I'll be able to shut this little gate right behind it, guys. And all this stuff right here, you can see all the dirt and stuff. Since this is vinyl, it will clean up real nice. So I'm going to get my brush out here soon. I'm going to wipe all this stuff down nice and good, and go ahead and scrub the porch down right there. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Be sure to hit that like button down below for me, and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a wonderful week ahead. Peace.